to the Boundary Waters. Beautiful, isn't it? It's a place that still seems almost untouched by humans. It's a place for adventure, where you can get away from it all and refresh your soul. There aren't many places like this anymore, which is why we need to talk before you enter, so you can help keep it this way. The BWCA Wilderness is a federally designated area managed by the USDA Forest Service and is part of the National Wilderness Preservation System. Think of all the people just like you who come here year after year. As careful as we are, we still have a cumulative impact on the land. So to make sure the wilderness can be enjoyed by you, your fellow visitors, and future generations, we need to follow regulations and treat each other and the wilderness with courtesy and respect. It all revolves around 3 simple words: leave no trace. Don't worry, if you forget, the regulations and leave no trace guidelines are printed right here on the back of your visitor's permit. All regulations are enforceable with legal penalties, so please make sure you understand all of them. Of course, you've planned and prepared for your trip, but now's a good time to make sure you didn't forget anything. Did you remember a life jacket for everyone? How about a current map and a compass? Do you know how to use them? Did you let family and friends know about your travel plans? How about water filters and a first aid kit? The water may look clean, but it may contain microorganisms that can make for a miserable visit. This is a big place, and you're responsible for the safety and well-being of yourself and everyone in your group. As you travel about, be smart and be safe. Set realistic goals. Portage around rapids. Expect and dress for extreme weather. And have a plan for how to deal with an emergency. After all, this is the remote wilderness, and you can't rely on a cell phone to bring you a quick rescue. Keep in mind, you must enter the wilderness only at the entry point and on the date shown on your permit. Cans and glass bottles are not allowed except for fuel, insect repellent, and personal hygiene items. It's a good idea to repack food in plastic bags or hard plastic containers. This cuts down on the amount of trash you'll have to pack out. Do you see a lot of congestion out here? There's a reason for that. There can never be more than 9 people and 4 watercraft gathered together anywhere in the Boundary Waters, including on the water, in campsites, and on portages and trails. This will be strictly enforced, no matter how many permits associated groups may have. So be prepared to travel and camp independently. There are places in the Boundary Waters specifically designated for use by motorized boats. Motor users should be sure to reduce speeds and wakes when meeting canoes along these routes. Portage wheels are also allowed along very specific routes, but are otherwise prohibited in the Boundary Waters. Whenever possible, stay on established trails and portages. And when you stop, set your gear and watercraft on rock or bare ground, because even a little human traffic will damage vegetation. Time to set up camp? Be sure to camp only at sites designated by a steel fire grate and a latrine. Don't ever create your own site. At existing sites, avoid building structures like camp furniture. And please, don't dig trenches around tents. For the best selection of campsites, be sure you've set up camp early in the day. It's tradition. Leave your campsite as clean or cleaner than you found it. If you pack it in, pack it out. When you're cleaning up, don't forget the little stuff. Tinfoil, twisties, cigarette butts, and fishing line. And remember, in Minnesota, it's illegal to burn trash in your campfire. And those latrines? They're for toilet use only. They are not for trash. If you're away from your campsite and you need to go, do it at least 150 feet from the water's edge. Dig a shallow hole and fill it with dirt and leaves when you're through. That 150 rule also applies to washing dishes and bathing, even if your soap or shampoo is biodegradable. We're lucky enough to have some of the most pristine water in the world. Let's keep it that way. As you travel through the Boundary Waters, please leave what you find. You're bound to run across some interesting things. Leave these for others to enjoy. And remember, removing or damaging historic or prehistoric artifacts is prohibited. Camp stoves are your best option for cooking and heating water. But if you decide to have a campfire, keep the fire small and within a fire grate. Use wood that's wrist size or smaller, and gather it well away from your camp and out of sight of the shoreline. Take only dead, downed wood, not standing trees or driftwood. If it's green or still growing, don't cut it. And when you leave camp or at night, put out your fire. Drown it with water and stir the ashes until it's cold. When the danger of wildfire is high, campfire restrictions may be in effect. During these times, stoves may be the only way to cook. Remember, the wilderness is always changing. Wind and fire are a natural part of this process. You'll probably run across some wildlife when you're here. Give them enough space to go about their own business. After all, this is their home, and you are their guests. When you keep your distance, you'll be able to enjoy their company even longer. Never feed wildlife. They're pretty good at finding their own meals. Plus, their natural foods are better for them anyway. If you plan to go fishing, consider doing catch and release, or take only what you can eat. Clean them away from camp and make sure you dispose of any fish remains far away from campsites, portages, and shorelines, far enough that the water is out of sight. Otherwise, you could end up with some unwanted guests like this one. Black bears are natives here. While they may not be interested in you, they sure wouldn't mind getting a hold of your food. So to protect your food and the health of bears and other critters, hang your food out of the way when you're away from camp or asleep. To be safe, hang it more than 12 feet off the ground and more than 6 feet from the nearest branch or tree. Or you could pack your food in bear-resistant food storage containers. If a bear does come a little too close for comfort, don't be afraid. Shoo it away from your camp right away and do it firmly. You'll both be better off. While you're in the wilderness, please be considerate of others. Although it may often seem like you're alone here, others may be near. Avoid congestion on portages by waiting until other groups have cleared the area. And make sure you place your watercraft and gear so you're not blocking the portage for others. Keep the noise to a minimum. You might even see more wildlife that way. The Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. Unique, ever-changing, with endless places to explore or to contemplate and slow down the pace of life. Whatever your reason for being here, remember to leave no trace. Thanks again for listening, and have a peaceful time out there.